Alright guys, so now we are going to talk about the lecture 3.1, radiant measure. The radiant is an extremely convenient angle measure because of its natural connection to circle. And you should be able to convert between degree and radiant. So I will take a look at the radiant measure of a central angle in a circle is the proportionality constant between. Basically what you must remember is that the length S is equal to the radius multiplied by the angle. Obviously, if you are going around and if you are doing the whole circle, your angle can become 2 pi, and therefore S will be equal to R multiplied by 2 pi. Most of the time, you will see that written as 2 pi multiplied by R. Now, of course, remember, theta has to be in a radiant. Therefore, you must know how to convert degree into radian. You can use your calculator, but it's pretty simple. What you need to do is basically remember that 2 pi radiant corresponds to 360 degrees. So therefore, let's say 135 degrees correspond to what radiant? X radiant. And to find X, you will have to do is you multiply the diagonal. X will be equal to 2 pi multiplied by 135, and you divide by the last term divided by 360, and that will give you the value of your angle in radiant. I'll let you do the calculation by yourself. Okay? Thank you. So what I would like to do with you now is again trying to convert degree to radiant, knowing that a full circle corresponds to 2 pi radiant or 360 degrees. So 360 degrees equal 2 pi radiant. 180 equal what? Well, if you want to check that it's equal to pi, you will have to do, and let me change the color of my pencil, 2 pi multiplied by 180 multiplied by 180 divided by 360, and that is going to be equal to pi. This is why we are able to say that 180 degrees equal pi radiant. Obviously, if you divide by pi both sides, you end up to have 180 degrees divided by pi equal 1. So pretty easy if you decide to convert 32 degrees, okay, 32 degrees into a radiant. So we did already, let's try to do another one because we did already 135 previously. So if I decide to convert 32 degrees into X radiant, I can decide to take 180 degrees instead of 360. And so I need to remember that 180 degrees correspond to pi radiant. Therefore, X is going to be equal to the diagonal, 32 multiplied by pi, divided by 180. Okay, and you are going to find around 0.58585 radiant. Now, if you want to convert radiant into degree, who knows if you need to have that? Well, it's pretty easy. You do exactly the same idea. You know that 2 pi radiant correspond to 360 degrees. So in this example, if you have 3 pi over 4 radiant, how many degrees are you going to have? You are going to have X equal to 3 pi over 4 multiplied by 360, and you divide everything. So you divide 360 by 2 pi. And if I want to be easy enough, want to do that very easily, the pi divide out, and you end up to have 3 times 360 divided by 8, and that will give you the value in degree of 3 pi over 4. Alright guys, so now let's try to practice a little bit. State the radian measure of all multiple of 30 degree and 45 degree going around the circle. So first of all, I know that right here I got 30 degree. If I convert this 30 degree into radiant, it will be corresponding to pi over 6. Now, obviously, I know also this is 30 degree, therefore the whole angle up to here is starting from there. If I go up to here, it will be 150 degree. And what is 150 degree? 150 degree, it's 180 degree minus 30 degree. Because I know that 180 degree equal pi, okay, I know that 180 degree equal pi, 150 degree, it is pi minus pi over 6, pi minus pi over 6, and I end up to say that is 5 pi over 6. I can easily understand now that from 30 degree, if I add pi, which means I'm going to arriving from there, if I add pi, so instead to be at 30 degree, I'm at 210 degrees now. We having basically 30 degrees, pi over 6, pi over 6 plus pi, which gives me a 7 pi over 6. And if I look at the other one, I'm going to have right here 11 pi, that is the angle 330 degrees, and it is 11 pi over 6. Why 11 pi over 6? Because 330 degrees, it's 360 degrees minus 30 degrees, which is 2 pi minus pi over 6, and that gives me 11 pi over 6. I could do exactly the same thing for 45 degree angle. If I look at the 45 degree angle, right here, 45 degree, it's pi over 4. 45 degree angle, it's equal to pi over 4. And by doing exactly the same thing, I can easily say that at 135 degree, right here, 135 degree, just right there, that corresponds to 3 pi over 4. Then if I go down right here, I will be at 225, which is 45 degree plus 180 degrees, which means pi plus pi over 4, and pi plus pi over 4 equals 5 pi over 4. Then obviously I can go to see the last one, 315 degrees, which is 360 minus 45, 360 degree minus 45, which is basically 2 pi minus pi over 4, and we end up to have 7 pi over 4. And I can again do exactly the same thing for the angle 60 degrees. So if I look at the angle 60 degree right here, this is 60 degrees. I know 60 degrees, it's pi over 3, because it's 180 divided by 3, which is pi over 3. So pi over 3. Therefore, at 180, 120, which is 180 minus 60, pi minus pi over 3, which is 2 pi over 3. If I decide to add pi to pi over 3, I end up to have 240 degrees, 60 plus 180, and I end up to be at 4 pi over 3. Finally, the last one at 300 degrees, which is 360 degrees minus 60 degree, which is 2 pi minus pi over 3, and I end up to have 5 pi over 3. Alright, so I hope that you understand that it's not very complicated. It's just about trying to figure it out if I need to add pi, if I need to subtract the angle or add the angle to pi or 2 pi or 2 pi or to 2 pi, and you will find the answer pretty easily. If you have any question, just let me know in class. Finally, we are going to try to practice by converting to radian 108 degree. I'm going to do some of them, and some of them will have to be done by you. I'm going to do the number 1. Converting 108 degree into radian is very simple because I know 1 pi equal 180. 108 will be equal to what? Well, it's going to be equal to 108 multiplied by pi divided by 180, and you are going to find 1.885 radian. If you do for the second one, you are going to have minus 228 degree multiplied by pi divided by 180, and you are going to find minus 3.979 radian. I'll let you convert the number 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's try to find the value of cosinus of 5 pi over 6. What is cosinus 5 pi over 6? Cosinus 5 pi over 6 is basically the cosinus of 150 degree. Okay? And when I am looking on my trigonometric circle, but I'm supposed to be able to find using my triangle that is equal to negative square root of 3 divided by 2, which is around my negative 0.866. All right? If I try to find out what is the value of sinus pi over 4, well, I'm supposed to figure it out, find that the sinus of 5 pi over 4, basically it's the sinus of 45 degree, and it's going to be equal to square root of 2 divided by 2. You do a equilateral triangle, and you will be able to find the value of square root of 2 very easily, knowing that y will be equal to square root of 2, and the r will be equal to 2. Actually, it is the opposite. The r will be equal to square root of 2, and basically you are going to find 1 over square root of 2, which is equal to square root of 2 divided by 2. I'll let you work on the tangent as well as sec, cosec, and the value of cotangent. I think you will find that pretty easily, especially the sec of pi. You know that sec of pi is 1 over cosinus of pi. And what is the value of cosinus pi? The value of cosinus pi is negative 1, so it's 1 over negative 1. This is why the sec of pi equals negative 1. I'll let you finish that home, and we'll talk about that in class. Thank you.